Puma is a junior gold explorer based in maritime Canada, so Atlantic Canada. High-grade gold at surface, market cap about 25 million, and really doing some low-cost exploration. So a little bit early-stage exploration, about 15 meters drilling program, with very high-grade drill hole discovery with 5 grams over 50 meters. In one of the best jurisdictions, Canada, safe, with supportive government team. Puma Exploration is based in Quebec, but the only place that we're doing exploration is in New Brunswick. So small province, a mining town, which used to be the place of the Brunswick 12 mine, one of the biggest, underground zinc mine. So they know the mining, so nice infrastructure, paved road, crown land, government supportive, really nice, supportive as well, First Nation team. So we've been one of the first mover in the area, so we have been able to get the best ground we could, but there's missing a little bit of major company to support a bit more exploration work in the area. Basically last year, following the discovery hole where we got one of the best holes in Canada that week was about 5 grams over 50 meters. So we've been able to do exploration work. So what we call it is we try to unlock value about the ground, which is mean that we do low-cost exploration. First is boot on ground. So really back on doing really nice technical work. So geologists on ground, boot on ground, hammer. So when we find some gold, then we move on trenching program and then drilling. So we never really drill blind because there's really little overburden. So what we've done this year, following a 10,000 meters program last year, was one of the biggest program ever. So this year we initiate a 3,500 meters program. We just announced about 2 weeks ago visual mineralization. So that was one of the best. Last year we've been able to confirm from the surface to 100 meters deep the gold mineralization. This year that was defining the kind of high-grade shoot of gold. This year was testing that. So we know what we call the length zone was defined over 700 meters down to 100 meters. The drilling so far this year, we've discovered zone up to 200 meters. So for the following years up to Christmas, we will do the lateral extension of that length discovery, which is mean wood cutting, trenching, stripping to get ready for just before Christmas, the phase 2 drilling program, which should be another 3,000 meters. So that's a little bit the strategy for Puma. Always be able to do surface work before drilling, because this is what is the most expensive work, is drilling costs. So we never drill blind, and we really want to drill good gold target. So what we know so far, the gold mineralization is really strategically held on a contact zone between the rhyolite, which is a volcanic, like felsic volcanic dome, and sediment. So that contact has been traced so far over 15 kilometers. So we know that the length gold zone, that's where we define everything so far. So we go to school at that place, we understand the geology, how to drill it, and what we've done last 2 years is over that 10 kilometers long, we did some trenching. So always the same tool, trenching first. So we don't know yet if it's all connected, but we know that we have gold showing over 4 kilometers. So that's going to be the following work to be there, because we know which is good at length. We know there's 4 zones over 4 kilometers. This summer, this fall, we're doing the surface exploration to try to connect those zones. So it's, prospective area, blue sky potential, but yet we don't know if they are all connected. We just have to remember, this is a really early stage project. We have been working on that only since 2019. Only 10,000 meters of program. So every time we work, we find something new, which is really exciting for us. Basically, the objective of the 2023 was to drill, as I said, deeper hole, which has been confirmed. We know the zone over 4 kilometers, but we have 2 others parallel zones where we find the same kind of mineralization, a little bit less advanced. So we have not drilled those yet, but we have the Cougar and the Jaguar, which is about 4 kilometers away. But there's so many places, 60,000 hectares of ground, mostly unexplored. So we don't even know the best one. So we did some work with cards, Geotech, Windfall Geotech, which are intelligence artificial software to tell us mainly where not to start, because it's too big and it's really nothing has been done. So we know this year is going to be the Lang zone. This is the focus. We want to connect, as you said, those zones. But also we have the Cougar and the Jaguar, which will be explored, trench, before probably another, like what we call the first preliminary program, about 2,000 meters on each of the zones. So we have about 6 zones to explore, but so far we don't know which one. Even maybe Langs is not the best one, because when you start somewhere, when you hit 5 grams over 50 meters, some grab sample up to 300 grams gold, you don't work somewhere else. You want to define it before going it. So we now know exactly what it is there. We want to go somewhere else to find more. At surface, because we always try to find the first stuff at surface. It's a non-explored. This is really crazy. We're just beside the Bathurst camp. Has been renewed for one of the biggest VMS camp in the world for 50 years. And the contact with where we are never been explored. The only work done is 2008. So almost nothing, no drilling. So it's all a brand new area where you can find some stuff at surface. You don't need to drill 4, 5, 6, 700 meters to find something. It's all at surface. And the overburden, the gravel over the rock is so thin that we can excavate it with a backhoe and have the 2 feet on ground. So when then we find some gold in that places, we increase the zone and then we drill. So as it's hard now to raise money, and I know, all the investors, they all have some invoice to pay. The money is not so right. So what we want to do is low-cost exploration. We put mostly all the money into the ground. We have a low burning rate, about 30,000 a month, Canadian, because we're living in a small town. We have houses about 40 kilometers away, paved road. So we're drilling about 2 kilometers from paved road, crown land. Cannot be better. We're not talking about helicopter, all those high expensive costs. So this is what we try to do. More news might be as soon as next week, because we have been drilling. Once we've been drilling, now we are logging the core. It takes some time because, it's something good to mention for the shareholders. Once the drilling is done, then you have to log the core. Once we have logged the core, we have to sample it. So sample it takes 2-3 days for each hole. Then once it's done, you have to send it to the lab and you have the results within 30 to 40 days. So that's a long process. So instead of waiting, we've been trenching and stripping some other places. So we're going to have more exploration surface news really, really soon, which is going to explain a bit more the program for the rest of the fall while we're waiting the results. So I would say before September, we should have the first batch of drill result, and soon in October, we should have the second batch. So I would say by October 15, all those 23 holes drill will be announced. But once it's going to be announced, we're going to do a model, redo the 3D models where we define the ore shoot to drill the phase 2. So next news, we did also some met tests, which came pretty good. So we have news on met tests, surface, drilling. So we should have about 10 news up to Christmas. So we're really, really ready to go back on the market and tell the story to all the investor community. It's so great because Puma has been working in Bathurst area and New Brunswick for the last 20 years. So we've been looking for base metal at the time, but we get already some relationship with those First Nation group 20 years ago. And one funny thing is the chief now of the Mi'kmaqi band used to be working with us. So 10 to 15 years ago. So he knows well, what is mining, and, they are business directed. So they don't want money. They want to work together. So they have their own trucking company. They have their own other company, construction company. So we can work together. So we have already a MOU with First Nation. We're talking all the time. A month ago during the summertime, I've been invited to the powwow. So we have a really great relationship with them, which is so great. Yes. Yeah, but we don't have to forget the local people as well, because a lot of people talking about the First Nation, this is good, but also we don't have to forget the people in Saint Quentin, because that's them as well that they're going to benefit. So they are really supportive. They They know who we are. We've bought an house in San Quentin, which is about only 5,000 people. So we're now New Brunswicker. So that's helped as well. Everybody at the grocery store, at the pharmacy knows, oh, Puma. So they are really, really happy that maybe in a few years from now, they're going to have 200-300 jobs, like well-paid job in that part, because mostly the economy now is the forestry. So who knows, once the wood will be cut, they're going to need something else to support. So that's a really great stakeholder in the area, and be doing all the work. This is another stuff. So we try to always focus our claim, the project, for sure goes where the goal is, but if we have to choose, we don't never claim stake over private land. So it's all crown land. So we have to discuss with the government, and it's pretty easy to get the permitting, because that's something that we have not talked, but permitting, we got a bulk sample, 4,000 ton bulk sample in 3 weeks permit. So this is when you asked me a bit earlier that what is the, one of the upside of working in New Brunswick if it was a good jurisdiction. It's a small province. So there's not so much company asking for permit. So you have within 30 days all the permit you want. So everything has been permitted really well, but instead of waiting 90 days, like 100 days, then you have the permit to do the work, and they want us. And the good thing is we're one of the most advanced projects. So we're kind of the example. So there's the minister deputy, there's the ministry that they come and look what we're doing, because that's something new for them as well. So that's why we try to keep always things clean, all in good shape. So I think we're good company to be for them as well. I just mentioned it a bit earlier. What you have to remember, high-grade gold, one of the best recovery, mainly the early test was by gravity, which is gravity recovery doesn't need any chemical. So we're not talking about leaching. We're not talking about cyanide. We're not talking about, flotation. So really, really clean mining operation. Surface, everything has been found at surface so far up to 200 meters in one of the best locations. So beside that, the only thing I can say, so come. Because once you have the 2 feet on site, we try to organize some site visit. When you see it on a map, it doesn't make big difference, because the scale, everything, the investor doesn't know. But when you have the 2 feet on the zone and you see the size of it, the location, when you get the truck and you have 20 minutes to get on site, this is what is Puma. Low cost exploration, because money is really important for everybody. And low-cost exploration, blue sky in one of the best jurisdictions. So.